Hello and welcome to Expert Talks with Kalkine Media. I'm Rose Jacobs. Now, just as every cup of tea has its own unique flavour, every grower has their own unique story. One global tea community, Tealet, is filtering through one of the world's oldest industries that is ripe for disruption. Tealet describes itself as a place of exploration and connections in global tea culture. The Tealet Grower Network is composed of family farms and independent cooperatives in 8 different countries and 15 different growing regions. The mission is to connect tea buyers directly with small family farms right around the world. Elyse Petersen, founder of Tealet. Elyse is a global tea ambassador with the International Tea Farms Alliance. She's an experienced international development worker in the area of food security, natural resource management and sustainable food preservation. Elyse, it's lovely to have you on the show with us today.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I have to say I've never felt quite so much like having a cup of tea as I do right now. You are the woman in the know. Tell us a little bit about the goals of this global tea family that you have founded and now run.
Yes, our goal is to bring transparency to the supply chain, and it's been a constant struggle for farmers and for independent producers to connect directly with the market, the international market. It is the oldest, agricultural distribution network in the world. It dates back hundreds of years. It's the basis of colonialism and actually of historical events such as the Opium Wars between China and England. And these networks of distribution within the supply chain are highly centralized, they're highly opaque, and allow for a lot of oppression within the industry, which leads to unhealthy agricultural practices, human trafficking, as well as indentured labor. So our goal is to bring artisanal handcrafted products more transparently to the market. And ever since 2013, we have found great success in utilizing tools such as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency to bring that transparency to the supply chain.
It certainly is a commodity with a long, deep history. It does seem surprising that it has taken so long for a foundation such as yours to really get off the ground. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've been at this for 10 years now, but we also have to think that not only have I been doing this for 10 years, but I've been doing it in a market where tea was highly taboo. We had the whole Boston Tea Party thing that happened at the beginning of the founding of this country, where tea represented British culture, where we wanted to kind of separate ourselves culturally from the British. So it was something that we didn't have a tea culture of. And, now that I'm introducing essentially a brand new product to the market, it has taken time, but it's amazing the overlap. At first when we started to accept Bitcoin as payment, we found great success. In fact, it was about 85% of our total revenue was early Bitcoin adopters who were using their early Bitcoin. And this is amazing. When we first started accepting Bitcoin as payment, some of our transactions would be worth 3 Bitcoin each. Wish that we had kept some of those Bitcoin from those early days, but as principal, we were exchanging everything to fiat because at the time there was a lot of lack of clarity of how to deal with the taxation and the exchange of currencies at that time. So, I'm much more as a religious advocate for crypto, more so than an investor or a trader, in that I really believe in the ideology of peer-to-peer, of cutting out the middleman, of bringing more trust and transparency to how the transactions in our lives go about in the world.
It's certainly a brand new world in terms of tea and trade. Now, conscious tea consumers are becoming increasingly interested in specialty tea as opposed to commodity tea. Why is that?
It has a lot to do with appreciation of value, appreciation of quality. Like when you taste a cup of commodity tea bag tea alongside a cup of handcrafted, handmade, artisanally gone through brewed tea, you definitely will taste the difference. You will feel the difference. There's actually a psychoactive effect. Nootropics is actually a very popular brand of supplements, especially among the tech world, programmers and young, affluent, tech savvy folks are using the supplements for the brain focus and the body relaxation. And when tea is handcrafted and artisanally high quality, the amount of the compounds in the tea is much higher. So you even feel a psychoactive effect from the tea, which is why it's just so amazing how so many parallels. And also, just on top of it, tea was our first form of international currency in the world when international trade routes were formed between China and Tibet, exchanging tea for horses, and then using small pressed cakes of tea to evaluate other items that were traded along those routes. So I think it's really that this product that people usually don't really think of as innovative, the cutting edge product of finding real world utility for the ideologies of cryptocurrency in international trade.
It certainly is a very strong and long history in terms of its culture and also the trade history, as you've mentioned. I could sit and listen to this all day. Now, Tealet has been building a tea community and giving away tea and teaware on a new mobile streaming app, Pacocha. So how else are you leveraging recent technology to connect tea lovers?
Metaverse technology, the multi-platform exchange of information, experiences, and communities, I found to be a perfect fit for tea. The tea is a very communal, experience-based type of product, so it's been very appropriate for us to host virtual tea parties. We utilize a virtual world-building space. We have a virtual tea house where people can meet. We can drink tea together from around the world. I've been doing a lot of live streaming. So, here with the green screen that I have set up, this is just in my studio in the warehouse. We live stream to apps such as Twitch and YouTube, but the mobile streaming apps with the micro payments has been a very good place for us to build that community and find ways to get good quality tea into their teacups, and also teach people about cryptocurrency, about how they can diversify their wealth and find smarter ways to support themselves and to build a strong future for transparency and quality and good livelihood by using cryptocurrency and staking our investments and investing in that future versus just trading and trying to get a quick buck right away, but really invest in a strong, solid future for ourselves and our families.
I absolutely love the way that you've highlighted there that tea is not just a place of connection, but it's also a way of fostering shared knowledge and shared experience. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that continues to evolve in this new tech space and trading space, as you've mentioned. So let's talk now about the tea growers and the communities right across the globe. What would you say are some of the main challenges that these growers are currently facing globally?
The main challenge is just the local market that they do have access to a lot of times is very centralized, it's very opaque. So price that they receive, they have really no power in negotiating more equitable prices for their teams. Additionally, more issues that are outside of the scope of the market is climate change. Climate change is changing the dynamics of their soil, the dynamics of the weather, which does have a significant effect on the final product output. So a lot of farmers are having to exchange knowledge with each other, especially exchanging knowledge with the market to understand what are the changing market dynamics and market values and character desires so that they can select new varieties of plants that are more appropriate for their changing ecosystems, as well as the processing because all tea comes from one plant, the Camellia sinensis plant, this beautiful plant that's right behind me here. All the different thousands of teas that we can make, they all depend on the terroir, very similar to one. And so when climate change starts to affect, your soil and your climate and your rainfall, your pH, the farmers have to be at the edge of innovation, changing their processing, changing their plant varieties, so that they can make a better product for the market. And cryptocurrency, the ideologies behind crypto are essential for this information exchange and this fast innovation, because this climate change is happening day by day. It's not decades of change. It's every day. It's happening very fast.
Well, Elyse, just to wrap it up on a slightly more positive note, what is your personal favourite cup of tea today, and from which region in the globe?
My favorite tea is shaded green tea from Japan, and that does include matcha. So it's very awesome that matcha is becoming so popular in the international market now. It is kind of the backbone of the growth of our tea distribution. And of course, these teas are coming from Japan. They're shaded, which means that there's even more of that L-theanine production. It creates a really rich, smooth, milky, creamy texture in your mouth. And it just makes you feel more intelligent. So like I said, like nootropics, the industry is extracting those compounds for those supplements from the tea plant. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be receiving those nutrients directly from the tea and having that meditative, ritualistic process of making the tea to get that mental focus and that body relaxation.
Sounds fantastic. Now I'm craving a cup of that one myself. I can quickly see that tea tasting is going to supersede wine tasting in the very near future, at least we hope so. Now, Elyse Petersen from Tealet, founder and director, I'm very pleased to have had your company today. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. A quick mention of how our viewers can reach you or join your cause.
Yeah, so I can be reached via email, elyse@tealet.com. Our socials can be reached at tealet. And my personal moniker for my live streaming, if you do find your way to the Cocoa Chat live streaming app, is Peace Elyse.
Sensational. Elyse Petersen from Tealet, thank you again for your time, and that's all we have time for here at Expert Talks at Kalkine Media. And of course, we're inviting you at home to stay apprised and invest wise.